Howdy gang and happy November. Actually, it's not November at the time of this, but it will be when you're watching it. Anywho, so this one here is the reason why it's called my Moments Cowl. And the reason why I call it the Moments Cowl is it's got moments of a couple of different things that I've worked on since I started Looming that were a little intimidating to me at first when I first started Looming, but then I realized it really wasn't that bad. And I incorporated a couple of things into this that I know some of you may be intimidated by, but I'm going to break it down and show you how easy it actually is. And there is zero intimidation factor in this, which makes it even better. So for this pattern, what you're going to need now, I did mine in the round and I used my chunky all-in-one and with the larger pieces at the end altogether at 72. You need something that's divisible by 4 for this. And the reason why is you're going to be moving some things around over a total of 4 pegs. So you're going to be taking some things from peg 1 and 2 and moving that to 3 and 4 and moving 3 and 4 back to 1 and 2. Don't freak out. It's a lot easier than it sounds. Okay. So for this particular one, like I said, what I did is I've used my KB Chunky. Now, if you don't have this, that's totally okay. You can use a regular all-in-one. I happen to use this one because I'm using one of my favorites, which is Red Heart Huggy. And I know I'm pronouncing that wrong, but I really don't care because in my head, even though on here it says Huga, it's Huggy. They're wrong. I'm right. Anyhow. Number one, because I love this yarn. It is so soft and buttery, and this color is actually really pretty. It looks like a steel gray. The name of it is called Sterling, but up close, and I don't think it's really going to come through on the camera, the yarn itself is like a steel gray color, but the little fuzzies are like a lilac color, like purple. Can you guys see that? That's just, I love it. I love it so much. And I thought this would be the perfect thing for it. Now, this can also be done in a flat panel. So for those of you who don't like cowls, whatever issue that you have, that's on you. This can totally be done on flat panel. Just make sure that you have a loom big enough for it to be crossed over 4 pegs and wide enough if you're going to do like a wrap or a shawl. You want something that's at least this wide, which I think this is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 31. So there's 31 on this side. You would have to add one more, 32. That's if you're using a 5/8 gauge. So you can actually use a 48 chunky loom if you want to do it flat panel. That would give you a perfect, nice wide wrap. If you want to do like a wrap shawl type of thing, that would be perfect for it. But I like to do cowls because they're so fun. But other people like to do other things. So there is no looming place. This is totally yours. You do what you want to do. Okay? Trust me, I'm not going to show up at your house and sit there and go, you can't do that. Because you can do that. And if anybody says that you can't, you say, you know what? You need to go have a talk with Michelle because she said I can. Anywho, so with this one, it's worked over 12 rows. And once again, you guys know that I'm infamous for putting my abbreviations here, giving you a legend here, giving you a chart here, giving you the directions here is foolproof. Okay, so once you watch this video and you follow along, you guys are going to be like that. Okay, what you do need obviously is your loom hook, and you're going to need a cabling hook. Now, if you don't have a cabling hook, a pencil or if you have a knitting needle or anything that's going to hold some yarn, like looped yarn, and you can put it over to the side. That's fine. If you have a kid that's sitting at home and they're bored, have them hold the two pieces for you. Whatever you want to do. For me, I have 2 sets of cabling hooks. This one is absolutely my favorite. I got these from my landlady's knit shop, but you can pick these up at Michael's, at Joann's, Amazon. I don't know about Hobby Lobby. I don't really shop there, but I'm sure they do. So there's 2 types. This one here, it's just a straight bar with what I call a hiccup in it. And then there's this, which looks more like a hook. Okay. But for me, I like to use the medium size in my hiccup bar to do what I need to do. So with this pattern here, you're going to see that rows 1, 2, 3, and 4 is just a garter. So row 1 is knit, U-knit, true knit, no E-wrap. No E-wrap anywhere in this pattern. Okay. The other is, oh, I just realized that the drop stitch one didn't show up. I have to fix that. So rows 1 and 3 is just knit, true knit, U-knit, no E-wrap. 2 and 4 is purl. Simple as that. Now, where you see this circle with the 3, that means you're going to wrap that peg 3 times, like an E-wrap, 3 times around that peg. But you're going to wrap it 3 times, knit it off, and then go on to the next peg. You're going to do the entire row or round like that. Then on 6 is where we're going to use our cabling hooks. We're going to move pegs 1 and 2 off. We're going to unwrap them, move them off onto a cabling hook. Then we're going to unwrap 3 and 4. We're going to take the yarn that was on 3 and move that over to 1. The yarn from 4 move to 2, and then we're going to take 2 to 4 and 1 to 3. Trust me, it's a lot easier than it sounds. Then you're going to go 7 and 9 is going to be knit, 8 and 10 is going to be purl. Then you're going to go to the next section. We're going to E-wrap again 3 times, wrap that peg 3 times, knit it off. Whole row. Then on 12, you're just going to unwrap those and knit it off just like a regular drop stitch. I know it sounds complicated, but it's not. And it works up super quick. So I'm going to show you here what I've done so far. And it actually looks really cool. I don't know if you guys can see that, but here is where I did the cabling of the 2. Okay, then you have the garter, knit row, purl row, knit row, purl row. And then here's my drop stitch. Okay, and then I've already done another section and then another drop stitch. So I've already done rows 1, 2, 3, 4, because I know that you guys didn't want to sit here and watch me do the knit and purl thing and everything else. So now I'm on row 5. So row 5 tells me I have to wrap each peg 3 times and then knit it off. So let's do that. All right. I am over here. There we go. All right. So here's where I'm starting out. This is my starting peg here. So there's already yarn down here. What I like to do when I'm wrapping a peg and knitting it off, I always scoop that first onto my hook and just kind of hold it down. Then I wrap once, I use my finger, 2, 3 to secure those 3, and then knit it off. Go to the next one. 1, 2, 3. Knit it off. And you're just going to wrap all these pegs all the way around. 1, 2, 3. This is why I love having this little Lazy Susan. I get asked all the time, what is this orange thing that you use? It's simply a Lazy Susan. I'll show you guys. That I got from, I think, my local hardware store. It's just a Rubbermaid Lazy Susan. Nothing special. I think it was $5 maybe. And then my husband is the manager of a scuba dive shop. So he has a bunch of old neoprene laying around, and he just gave me this because it helps it to stay firm. Doesn't slide all over the place. So that is what my nifty little turner is made up of. Now, I don't use this when I knit normally. You know, when I sit at my recliner, I just put it on my pillow and put it on my lap. I only use this on here because it's easier. 2, 3. So I'm going to keep wrapping until I get, you know, like Eminem, until I get all the way back to my starter peg. You guys go ahead and keep doing yours if you're working with me. And through the magic of YouTube, I will be back and ready to go on to row 6. Meet you in a moment. All right, I am coming up on the last couple of them. And then I'm going to show you guys, whoops. That's why I use my finger, because they like to jump off. 1, 2, 3. All right. Come on. Argue with me. Okay, so now all of them have 3 wraps on them. 1, 2, 3. You can kind of see that. Okay. This is where you're going to grab either your cabling hook or a pencil or something to hold your yarn while you unwrap it. You're going to put it on there and move things around. Now, don't get distracted while you're doing this, please. So if you have to do something, stop here, mark where you're at, go do what you're going to do, and then on these rows, make sure that you have no distraction. So give everybody the look so that they know, go away. All right, so what you're going to do, here's my starting peg here. I'm going to use my hook, my looming hook, and very gently unwrap. And then what I do is grab it from the bottom and I put it on there. Then I go to my next, which is peg 2, unwrap, and I slide my cabling. There we go. So both of them are on there. Pegs 1 and 2 are empty. And then I just set this right over here. Okay. Leave him alone for now. Then I'm going to go to 3. I'm going to unwrap 3. And your yarn is going to move. Okay. So don't get all freaked out. And then you're going to move peg 3 over to peg 1. And with 3 wraps, that should be more than enough that you should not have to fight this at all. You shouldn't have to pull it, tug it, beat it up. You don't have to do any of that. Okay. Go to peg 4. Unwrap it. I think I have 2. Try and grab just 1 strand at a time and do this, because that's what happens when you try to grab 2. I just grabbed 2 and they were fighting me. There we go. All right, so here's 4. I'm going to take the loop on 4 and I'm going to move that over to 2. All right, so 3 and 4 are now empty. I moved 3 to 1, 4 to 2. This one is from peg 2. So I'm going to take 2, slide it off, bring it over here to 4. I'm going to grab 1, slide it over here, and drop it on 3. And there we go. That's the crossover 4 with the cable. All right, and then you're going to repeat that all the way around. Now, when you get on your corners, just keep in mind that they will be pretty loose when you go to cross everything over. The other thing I found out is try and bring all of your yarn up to the top of the peg. it makes it easier to grab and unwrap them. There we go. Hook it. Come over here to 2. All right, so now I have 1 and 2. Now I'm going to go to 3. And it really helps if you're ambidextrous also, like me, because then you can just flip-flop working with both hands when it comes to something like this. If you're not, it's totally cool. You can still do it. And then 2. Then I'm going to grab 2. 2 to 4. And 1 to 3. So there you go. So you're going to repeat that all the way around. And then, so right now we're actually on row 6. So you guys can see we're right here on row 6. So 7, 8, 9, or 7, 8, 9, and 10 is just knit, purl, knit, purl. And then I will meet you back here after we are done 11, which is wrap 3 times, and then we'll go to 12. Okay, so pause the video, keep working, and I'll meet you back here in a moment. All right, so I am just about done with row 11, where I wrap each peg 3 times. Now, since I was live last, I was on row 6, where we cross over the 4. We cable over the 4 between pegs 1, 2, and 3, 4. So I did that, and then I knitted 7, purled 8, knitted 9, purled 10, and now I just finished up 11. 12, we're just going to drop those stitches, meaning we're going to unwrap the 3 wraps that we just did and drop those, and then we're going to go back to 1 and repeat rows 1 through 12 until you get the desired length. Now, I'm sure many of you are very familiar already with drop stitch. Basically, it's just that. We're dropping that stitch off of the peg. Okay, we're just unwrapping it. We're not taking it actually off. We're just unwrapping it so that it's loose. Now, same with row 6. Please pay attention, because if these drop off the pegs, you could possibly screw it up. I don't know any other way to say it. So just make sure that you don't have any distractions. They're going to be really loose. So what I have a tendency to do is just kind of tuck the inside like that. And I unwrap maybe 3, and then I go back and I'm going to start 1 just so I can secure them. And be careful when you knit these over, because you don't want the others to fall off. And then just give it a good tug. All right. Now you can knit off each one as you unwrap it. That's fine. Whatever's easier for you. That way you're kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone. You're getting row 12 and then starting row 1. So that way when you come back around, you're going to go right into row 2, which is purl. So you're going to do that all the way around. And then you're just going to repeat those steps all the way through. Now, something that I also want to show you guys that you'll need to do as you're working it, because when you do garters, sometimes it will come up in like these little bubbles, especially when you do the drop knit. So don't be afraid to pull your work, and you'll need to do that just to tighten up these areas between these sections, so that way your drop stitches, see, it just tightened up that garter area right there, are tighter, and it really shows off that drop stitch. And you're going to do that all the way around, and then keep doing rows 1 through 12. See, you can really see it now. So you see the 4 that were cabled, the garter, the drop, the garter, the 4, the garter, the drop. So keep doing that until you get the desired length you want. I'm probably going to do maybe 1 more set, and then I'm going to be done with this. But if you're doing this in a flat panel, you know, for a wrap or a shawl, you want to get it good and long enough that it's, depending on who you're making it for. A good rule of thumb for me is somebody's height and then add 6 inches. So for example, I'm 5'3". I would add 6 inches to that 5'9", just to kind of give you that extra wrap. Or if you want to do it even longer, it's totally up to you. And I can't wait to see what everybody does with this. I'm really excited. And I love this because even though it's a bulky yarn, it's a number 5, you can really see the definition in it with this loom that I'm using, the 5/8 chunky, all in one. So just make sure that whatever loom you're using the appropriate yarn for it. Now, I wouldn't use this yarn on a smaller gauge, like a 3/8 or something like that, because you really won't see the clear definition like you do here. But it's totally up to you. Trial and error, right? All right, gang. Thank you so much for allowing me to continue to show you new things to do and making new creations for you all. It really means the world to me. And I can't ever say thank you enough to all of my wonderful patrons that have been with me for over a year now. Can you believe it? Just wow. Anyway, I love you, gang. Happy looming.